And I am live. Hello, 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 and welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. Very quickly, I just want to do some housekeeping, making sure I am where I had wanted to be, where I'm supposed to be, as I like to stream on many platforms so many people can connect. I do hope I spelled everything correctly. Xint, I think so. It's a little late to be worrying about that, right? So anyway, let's just go and see where I am. So give me a sec, and I will you'll have my undivided attention. There we go. So all of you who are streaming on Twitter, please go ahead and let me know that you are there. If you happen to be streaming on my YouTube channel, let me know that you are there by liking and hitting subscribe, and also that little bell, let that little bell ring so you know when I do go live. There I am. And I'm going to land on my final page, which is usually Facebook, because that's most of the time where I have people following me at. So here I am, and I believe I have one or two people following me at this point in time. And when you are here, remember to say hello. Let me know that you are. I'm just gonna share some invites out for those who might be here wanting to connect with me. So I'm just gonna hit a few and just have a conversation. One or two more people. Just have a conversation. All right. All right. So let me start off by one other thing. Want to just make a change here. I know so much housekeeping. It's like unreal, the housekeeping that takes place in this world right now. Here we go. Perfect. So if in case you need to reach out to me, my email is strolling on the bottom. Feel free to send questions or any comments you may have to that email address wherever you are tuning in from. So let's dive in. I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the chakra balance numerology, cosmic energy forecast deck. And so interesting on the first card that's showing up is self-love. We'll talk about that in a little while. Wanted to just point that out to each and every one of you. I'm also the owner of Holistic Fitness located in Queens, New York, where I'm currently at. As you could tell from my background, yes, I have an amazing holistic fitness facility, fully loaded with equipment, a lot of equipment on my first floor. My lower level is where my healing takes place, my Reiki room, my yoga classes, my lodge room, whatever have you. Want to just give a shout out and say hi to Teresa for being here with me right now. So my topic for today is about anxiety, depression, and intuition. And I think my description says something about intuition, psychic abilities, mediumship are the cousins of anxiety and depression. And you may be asking yourself, what the hell does that mean? The cousins, how are they cousins? What I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to keep this to a minimum of like no more than 30 minutes, just to bring in some insight to share. Because when I got up this morning and I went into my Facebook page, all I kept seeing from many, many, many different posts is about anxiety and depression. In fact, I was actually chatting with a client yesterday, and she was telling me that she was just diagnosed with depression, and that her anxiety runs really high as well. Now, I want to take you back a little bit when we think about it. In the last 2 years, every one of us in the world has experienced a pandemic where we were literally told to quiet down and isolate in the house, to stay in. And anytime we are asked to stay quiet for that matter, not something many of us are used to doing, that itself can activate a lot of thoughts that goes on in our mind. Now, those thoughts that come on in our mind may actually be, as I like to call it, downloads that we receive from our higher consciousness, and also the connection we may very well have with spirit without realizing we have the ability to connect with spirit. So when you're receiving all this information, and sometimes it comes in really staticky, such as when you turn on the radio and you didn't hit you didn't turn the radio on the right station, so it ends up sounding like shh, which could be a little confusing because it's like there's so much going on. And when that information comes in that rapidly, it can create a sense of anxiousness because we're not sure what exactly is going on. It's almost like being in a train station and trying to figure out what train you're supposed to be going to, and you're like looking at everything and there's just too much going on, and that can create an anxiety experience because it's overwhelming. So this is what I'm here to share with every one of you. Now, whether you are conscious of it or not, and this might be a learning experience, this might be a light bulb effect right now because you may not even be aware that you have this ability. And if you're not aware of it, just sit tight and see if anything of what I share with you today resonates with you. So, as I said about the anxiety and depression being the cousins associated with psychic abilities, your intuition, and mediumship, right off the bat, our intuition, most call it the second brain. I like to call it our first brain. Our intuition sits right in our belly. It's that gut knowing something. But when we are not connected to the intuition, we get a little overwhelmed, we get a little anxious. And when we are not connected to it, our intuition may very well be sharing insight with you regarding something that you should be doing or something you shouldn't be doing. Like, for example, have you ever had an experience where all of a sudden you started getting butterflies in your belly, or you started getting like your stomach just started getting really queasy? And that could be because there's something going on around you that your body is the radar by saying something's not aligned here and you need caution. That's your gut letting you know that you have to pay attention, something's off here. But because sometimes we're not aligned or we're not embodied with our intuition, we're not paying attention to it. So then we miss that message. But what we do get as the message is we get a stomach ache, because we can recognize a stomach ache where we feel like, oh my God, I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom. I feel like I gotta do a poop. But it's not necessarily a poop that you have to do. It's your intuition that is having a conversation with you, which is why you suddenly got this desire in your belly. And that desire, when it lingers on for a little while, can eventually become anxiety ridden, where now all of a sudden, just rather than just feeling that energy in your belly, that energy starts to move up into your heart, where now you start to feel like your heart is palpitating. Your blood pressure starts to get really high because you're anxious about something that you're not paying attention to. And again, coming back to the intuition, your inner knowing was trying to get your attention, which then created that anxiety. And when we stay in a state of anxiety for a really long period of time, that may very well create that depression of the overwhelmness, where we feel like we need to just isolate ourselves. And sometimes isolation itself can also be a trigger to the anxiety and depression. So now here's where I want to connect into that space of the intuition we just spoke on, and the psychic abilities and mediumship. When we think of psychic abilities and mediumship, we all have the ability to connect with spirit, whether it's listening, seeing, feeling, or all of the above, smelling, tasting, all of the above. And in addition to that, if we are hearing spirit, we also have the ability to connect as a medium. And over the last 2 years, I'm even going to take it further back and say even back to like 2018, just trying to think of the numbers there, 29, 10. Let's take it back even further. 2017, when we think about that number, 2017, Works out to be an 11 energy. Just want to make sure I got that right. 2017, 7, 8, 9. Actually, that's a 9 energy, but that we could start there. So we think about 2017, that 9 energy is that gateway of helping us to let go of things, helping us to let go of energies that prevent us from that connection, that higher connection. And it allows us that transformation. And then we move into 2018, which gives us this ability to have a new way of connecting, a new way of connecting. But here's the big number, that 2019, which is what I said from the beginning. When you break down those numbers, that's an 11 energy. The 11 is what we like to say the portal to connecting with spirit. So it's like the gateway is open from 2019. If you think back to 2019, what was going on in your life at that point in time, the gateway is open, and you might have experienced what I like to call a spiritual awakening, or a spiritual journey taking place, where all of a sudden you had the ability to either you started seeing or even hearing spirit, and hearing noises and knowing that there was no one around, but yet you're hearing voices, or perhaps you're even seeing shadows around you. And from 2019 going forward, many of us literally received these downloads, these activations from that point on, where it gave us the ability to have a connection with spirit communication, have a connection with this higher vibration of mediumship. And because of that, and not knowing what it is or how to use it, it can very well be anxiety ridden, creating depression as well. Now, from my experience of working with many clients who, in the last give and take 5 years, have activated their ability as a, I'm going to use the term healer, where they do connect with spirit. They have this amazing connection and communication with loved ones that have crossed over, and also people that have crossed over that they may not even know. And that could become a little anxious ridden when you're constantly got so much going on in what I like to call the third and the third eye and the crown chakra. A lot of energy going on, and you're not quite sure how to work with it. And what I've also noticed too in the last 5 years, not just adults, but children especially. I mean, children from as young as babies are so hypersensitive to spirit. In fact, from the age, I'm going to say from the age of like 1 year old, even younger, to as old as 15 years old, children have the natural capacity, not natural ability to connecting with spirit, having conversation with spirit, seeing spirit as well. And if they're not sure how to work with this energy, or even be able to share the fact that they have this ability and they have to keep it to themselves, that can create anxiety as well. And I know for myself, being that I am definitely a medium, I connect with spirit, I see them, I have major conversations with them. For me, spending time alone is incredibly important for me, because it allows me that opportunity to make that connection with spirit and have conversation with spirit. Now, up until, let's say, 5 years ago, is it 5 years? Up until 5 years ago, back in 2011, when my mom crossed over, for about the first 5 years, my connection to spirit was primarily my mom. That's who I talked to all the time. She would sit with me. We'd have amazing conversations. But in the last 5 years, since doing a lot of the work that I've been doing over the last 5 years, that communication with spirit has expanded to the point where now I connect with other family members, and more importantly, I connect with people I don't even know who they are. They could be ancestors, and sometimes it's people that I do know, like let's say my clients or a person in the store, that I may connect with one of their loved ones to have to deliver a message. And that itself could be very anxious ridden as well. So my whole point here is, and why I decided I want to come to share about this energy and the cousins of intuition, psychic abilities, and your mediumship, and how it is the cousin to anxiety and depression. Two things. One, I really want to help every one of you out there who may be experiencing anxiety and or depression, and the first thought you're thinking is, I have to go to the doctors to find out, why am I experiencing this so much anxiety, and why am I depressed? Why am I depressed? Now, again, you can definitely blame it on everything that's been going on in the world in the last 2 years. We could sit back and say, well, the pandemic, not allowed to get out and do the things I like to do. I can't travel as much. I'm isolated. I don't have a job. I'm not doing what I want to do. We can blame it on all of those external forces should we desire to. Or we can really look at it as there's something more on a deeper level to all of this. Now, again, the natural thing that the average person would do when they are experiencing anxiety, when they are feeling depressed with overwhelming depression, they're going to go to the doctors and get a diagnosis of anxiety or depression. And most of the time, the physician is going to recommend medication. Now, here's my point here, and this is why I'm here to share with you. If I can have a conversation with you once that does happen, before you make the decision to take the medication, is to be able to help you come to the realization that perhaps the anxiety and depression may very well be connected to this energy of your intuition, a psychic ability that you may not be aware that you have, and the fact that you may have the ability to connect with spirit as a medium. And that can be really overwhelming, especially, as I said before, should you not know how to connect to this energy and work with it so it's not overwhelming. Now, just a little bit more of a background. I pretty much explained, gave you my background of what I do regularly. Now, in the past, I have worked with many clients who have been diagnosed with anxiety and depression and have helped them decrease their medication, if not fully come off their medication, and really help them activate their spiritual gifts, their psychic abilities, and also their gift as a medium, so they can serve and live in purpose. Now, if you feel as though there's something with you going on with you where you might have the ability to connect with spirit, but you're not sure, you feel as though you're constantly feeling like there's somebody around you, but you're not sure, you feel like you hear noises, but you're not sure, I would like for you to connect with me, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll see if there is some sort of connection between your intuition, your psychic abilities, and even possibly mediumship. Because I will almost promise you that there could be, if not all three of them, at least one or two that you may very well be in the process of activating. And as I said earlier, let's take this back to 2019, where we have that gateway of the 11 energy, the portal, which allows us to really become more aligned with the physical and spiritual world, that realm. And let's talk about this energy we just recently had. I mean, the month of February is a true energy month, which means it's about relationships. The relationships we have with those of us here on Earth, and then the relationships we have with those that we can no longer see. And we've had several portals. Let's talk about February 2nd, that 2/2/2022 portal, which opened up the energy, amplified, allowed the layer between the physical world and the spiritual world to become thinner. And then after the 2/2 energy, we had the 2/11 energy, which is also a very strong portal. And then we had the 2/20/22 energy as well. And then we just recently had the 2/22/2022 energy. So these are portals that's literally helping to activate our abilities, help us to really tap into our intuition, where our intuition becomes more heightened. And along with our intuition becoming more heightened, we start to realize that we may have a spiritual gift or two. Now, some ways I want to give you some tips, some tools that you can work with to start to activate your ability, should you have. And I'm going to almost say that most of us do. Just going to give a shout out to Gigi, who just popped in. Most of us have at least one spiritual gift, if not more. And how you can activate, easiest way possible. Go pick yourself up a deck of cards. A deck of cards. And you can make it really simple. You could pick up an actual deck of playing cards that you would see at Las Vegas, a deck of playing cards, and just start playing with them. And allow yourself to, if you're buying a deck of cards, they all come with a handbook to give you instructions, and allow your intuition to start to play. The more you work with cards, the more you're going to activate your intuition. And as I said earlier, every one of us has the ability to be psychic. Every one of us has the ability to connect with spirit. And we all have that gateway. And this energy that we are in, this intense energy that we are in, this portal that we are in, is helping to activate this ability to use our intuition and to connect with the other side. But this could become overwhelming, again, if you don't know how to use it or you don't understand it. And that's where anxiety and depression are the cousins. So you have, as I like to call it, the spiritual realm of it, and you have the medical realm of it. The medical realm of it is going to be related to anxiety and depression, because there's just too much going on in your head. Too much going on in your head. Whatever's going on up here, it drops down into your heart and becomes really anxious ridden. But yet, at the same token, when you can get a better understanding and learn how to play with this amazing energy, your intuition, your psychic abilities, and mediumship, and you really learn how to manage it, anxiety and depression will lessen. And that, I believe that's a guarantee, that when you learn how to work with these energies, and you also learn how to, I'm going to use this word as well, you'll also learn how to protect your energy as well. Now, when we think about protect your energy, what does that actually mean, protect your energy? Well, again, as I mentioned earlier, when you're around different people, different events, I mean, there's so much going on in our world right now. And when we indulge in that energy, that may cause our energy system to become a slightly lower vibration. And there is this thing called low vibration and high vibration. When you are sensitive, I'm going to use that word. When you are sensitive, you're intuitive, you have this psychic gift. Your energy is very important, and it's really important to keep your energy protected. Now, easiest way to keep your energies protected is just visualizing just white light around you. And even saying a prayer in regards to, I keep my energy protected and I repel back any low vibrations that I may be attracting, any low vibration that I might be attracting. And just allow yourself to be in this beautiful golden light so that you can be in a more higher vibration and less likely to feel all the external energy. And I use the word less likely because it's not always 100% guarantee. I mean, I know for myself, when I go into a large store where there's lots of people, lots of energy, by the time I come out of that store, my energy is zapped, where I have to realign my energy because I just energetically just pick up energy. And that itself can be very anxiety ridden as well. So I just want to come back, and I do want to only keep this about 30 minutes, which is about 6 minutes left. Just want to come back to that statement of recognizing when the anxiety shows up, asking yourself, what is going on right now that my anxiety is showing up? Has something happened? Have you been around something? Have you heard something? Are you around people? So do an evaluation. And once you get the answer, Then ask yourself, once you have that answer, what can I do so I can feel better immediately? Now, the easiest way to decrease the anxiety is just coming back to your breath. Remember to breathe. Whatever it is that you are focused on that's creating the anxiety, bring yourself back to your breath and just breathe. And then ask yourself, is what I'm thinking about happening right now to me? And if it's not happening right now to you, then just allow yourself to be in that space of calm and peace, because it's not happening to you. Now, we have absolutely no control over what's going on in the world. We cannot control that. And as long as we remind ourselves that we cannot control that, and what we can control is just sending out a lot of love and light to whatever's going on in our world, and just bring ourselves back into a space of balance, breathing, you may find that the anxiety starts to lower down. Now, in reference to the depression portion of it, again, the depression is to the point where we bring ourselves to a point where we stay so focused on the anxiety, it causes a depressed feeling. So allowing yourself to redirect your thought process. Think of something. This is what I do. Anytime my thought is in a sad feeling, the first thing I ask myself is, do I want to continue to feel what I'm feeling? Chances are my answer is going to say, no, I don't want to continue to feel sad. So what would I like to feel instead? And chances are that's going to be, well, I want to feel happy, or I want to feel excited. So then what I do, is then I think about something that's going to make me feel happy, or something that's going to make me excited. So I redirect what I was thinking about, and I focus on that thought that's going to make me feel happy. And I stay on that thought for at least 5 minutes until I literally can feel my energy shifting from that anxiety-ridden depression state to a happy, excited state. And then once my energy is shifted, then I go about my day to do whatever it is I'm going to do. And I may need to do that as often as I may need to do it anytime I feel as though my energy has dipped into an anxiety or depression state. And the most important thing that you want to do when this is happening is you need to ask yourself, when you are in that space of anxiousness or depression, is this happening to me right now? And if it's not, what can I do to change my thoughts? And if there is something that's happening to you at that very moment that's causing anxiousness, so for example, for me, when I drive on highways, sometimes that can make me anxious. So the first thing I need to do is I need to align my energy so I feel balanced and focused. So obviously I have to check in on my chakras to align my energy. And because I speak to spirit, I often call on my mom and have conversation with her until I get to my destination. And because I truly firmly believe that my mom is obviously an angel, I know that I have an angel sitting beside me, helping me to get me to where I need to go. And it may sound like the most ridiculous thing to do, but it does help me, and it helps to decrease my anxiousness. And we all experience anxiousness at one point or another. And some may even feel depressed. Depression, again, is a state of sadness where we feel as though we can't come back up. So if you are in that state, of mind state, it really is about shifting your thought process, shifting your mindset from where you are and bringing yourself into a different space. And I truly believe we always have a choice. We can choose to stay in a state of anxiety and depression, or we can choose to shift our thoughts to something that's going to raise us up so we feel happy again. But the whole reason why I wanted to come and share today about this topic is for those of you out there who may very well be experiencing intuition, psychic activation that may be creating some anxiety and depression. And if this is you and you haven't quite figured out what it is yet, and you would like to evaluate it on a different level, I would love to help you. So with that being said, all you need to do is reach out to me. You can email healingwithin76@gmail.com, or those watching on Facebook, you can message me or type in the comments, yes, you would like to have a conversation, and I will have a conversation with you. We will explore some options, whether there's intuition going on, there's your psychic gifts showing up, where you are at this very time, and when at the time you were diagnosed with the anxiety or even depression, what was going on in your life at that time. There will be a few other things I will also tap into, such as your personal energy, your number at the present time we are in, and your personal energy, your number at the time that you were diagnosed with the anxiety and or depression. So these are things that are really important to know, because that particular information gives some insight to your journey at that time. So again, if this is something that's interesting to you, if you are someone who is experienced or has been diagnosed with anxiety or depression, and your intuition is saying that there's something more than it being than just needing to have medication, and you want to explore this in a different direction, I would love to connect with you. I truly believe there's always two sides to a table. And when it comes to the medical industry, the opposite side of the medical industry is metaphysical. And I do believe that everything, any physical symptom, any physical diagnosis has a metaphysical explanation. And when you're willing to explore both sides and come meet in the middle, you might actually find a different way to manage and heal your diagnosis. And that's all I want to do is to help you. So again, if this is intriguing, if you're interested, if I touched on a nerve, if you're kind of curious, if you are someone who's experienced anxiety or depression, or you've just been feeling like there's just something going on around you and you're not sure how to connect with it, you don't know who to talk to. If you have children that seem to be a little standoffish, a little quiet, a little to themselves, they too may need to connect with somebody. And I would love to do that. So please go ahead and either message me, or those watching on YouTube or Twitter, you can email healingwithin76@gmail.com. That's all I have for you for today. Have yourself an awesome day. And just to remember that, again, your intuition, psychic abilities, and mediumship are definitely cousins to anxiety and depression. They are connected, and there's so much more to it than just medication. Again, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, and master of numerology. And I do look forward to helping you release issues from your tissues as you release emotional weight and fall in love with yourself. Till next time, have an awesome, awesome Thursday. Bye-bye for now.